Hello and welcome. In today's video we are looking at the Porsche 911 Turbo, one of the most iconic Porsches in my opinion, and we're gonna see how the vehicle performs when you first get it stock, when you fully upgrade it, as well as when you engine swap it. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have an engine swap for the Porsche 911 Turbo. So watch till the end so you don't miss out on anything, and let's get straight into it. Now, when you first get behind the wheel of the Porsche 911 Turbo stock, well, you'll realize that hey, this is a lively vehicle. The car comes with comfort soft tires and 295 brake horsepower from a 3.3 liter turbocharged flat 6 with the very lightweight body that only weighed 1,300 kgs. Now, in the time, this was actually the fastest production vehicle you can get in Germany. The vehicle was insanely powerful and is actually the first Porsche to ever receive a turbocharger and be set into production. Now, the badge on the back of the vehicle has actually seen a change, because instead of having the iconic 911 on the rear, it has been swapped out for turbo, and for the American market it actually got swapped out for Turbo Carrera, because it was actually planned that this was gonna go alongside the street race car of the Porsche 911 Carrera RS. And to be honest with you, this, in my opinion, is a lot better. Now, the 911 Turbo is iconic, and not just because of its racing past, its movie appearances, but there's just something about the 911 Turbo that's just like wow. And in my opinion, I think it has to be the massive rear wing. Now, the difference between the standard 911 and the 911 Turbo was not only just, okay, the car has a turbocharger, it's also the body. Now, it had to accommodate for larger rear tires as well as a massive rear wing to add extra downforce and give the vehicle more grip, because that's what it needed. And even still, with the grip, because of how light the vehicle was and how powerful it was, the car actually got the nickname the Widowmaker, because with it being rear engine, very powerful, well, it was very prone to oversteer, and that was, as I said, a Widowmaker. Now, when we actually see that the vehicle is fully upgraded, we see that Widowmaker name is actually increased tenfold, because now the car produces over 550 brake horsepower and weighs just over 1,000 kgs. So if you thought it was lively before, well, you're gonna need to buckle up for it. Now, we can see that the car around corners, you can either fully light up the rear tires, or you can actually take some corners flat out, but you do have to be really controllable with how you actually place the vehicle, because if you turn too sharply, well, that's gonna want to kick the rear end out, and that's gonna send you into the barrier. But the Porsche 911 Turbo is quite easy to actually control once you get the hang of it. So after about a good 2 laps, well, you'd understand how the vehicle works, and you should be able to set some really fast lap times. And as I said, 500 horsepower in a vehicle that weighs just over 1,000 kgs, well, you are cooking with a really good race car. The car has extremely good response. With fully upgrading the turbocharger, well, the lag isn't that strong, especially since we put an anti-lag system on this vehicle, and at night it looks absolutely incredible seeing those blue flames shoot out. Well, the Porsche 911 Turbo fully upgraded is the perfect track vehicle, because it offers just the right amount of slippage, but when it's time to get serious and set some fast lap times, well, that is where the Porsche 911 actually comes and shows its power. It's really such a good vehicle, and even if you don't get the engine swap, well, this is still a really fast vehicle and really good. Now, the price of the 911 Turbo is roughly about 220,000, and you'll find this vehicle, funny enough, in the used car dealership. I would have expected this car to be in the legendary dealership. I mean, it's the first Porsche with a turbocharger, and somehow it's not legendary enough. So, the Porsche 911 Turbo is absolutely groundbreaking and one of the best Porsches you can buy. and experience in the game, and this is without the need of an engine swap. It's just super fun, super fast, and if you want to use it for any of the Porsche events, well, you can. Also, you can win this from a menu book. By completing menu book 31, well, you will actually receive this vehicle for free. So if you already completed menu book 31, well, you might already have this Porsche, and if you haven't tried it out, trust me, you are actually missing out, and you need to fully upgrade it and see what it's like. But if you do get an engine swap, let me tell you what it's like. Now if we take a look at the standard engine fully upgraded and compare it to the engine swap, well, we see that we lose about 50 brake horsepower, but the engine swap is actually 35 kgs lighter, so that's gonna mean more lightweight. And since we're starting off with roughly the same power, it means once we upgrade it, it's gonna be so much higher. And if you didn't know what engine it comes from, well, it's coming from the Porsche 911 RSR. Yes, Porsche's GT3 vehicle. So yes, this is a very good engine to swap into the 911 Turbo, because with it being a GT3 engine, well, it means it's gonna have a ton of power and have great fuel economy. Now with an engine swap like this, when we put it into a classic vehicle, it can go one of two ways. It can either be one of the best things you could ever do, or it can absolutely ruin the vehicle. By adding too much power to these older vehicles, well, most of the time they can't handle it, except this time around. This time around the engine fits perfectly and works just right with the Porsche 911 Turbo. And just a side note, do not try and slide this vehicle. Or I think it was just the way I had it set up, but the minute the vehicle wants to slide out and begin shifting, well, it put me into a barrier. It did not want to do that at all, and I think that also has to do with the racing soft tires gripping up. Now fully upgraded, this car produces well over 700 brake horsepower and still weighs near 1000 kgs. So we see more than 200 brake horsepower will be added on top of our standard engine's power, but still remaining around the same weight. Now that means that this car is a lot faster than the standard one. But the difficult issue with this vehicle is now the tuning. You have to absolutely nail the tune, and to be honest with you, I wasn't able to do that with the swap version. Now it is a lot trickier to drive compared to the standard. That's why in some cases I actually say that the standard engine fully upgraded may actually be better than the engine swap version. But that's just a bit of a hot take. Now this car, you're able to do over 300 kilometers per hour with absolute ease, but with it being powered by a GT3 engine, well, this means that this car is able to do endurance events. And to test it out, I took it around Sardinia. I did the WTC 800 against other Group 3 vehicles using the Porsche 911, and to be honest with you, this thing was absolutely insane. So now, in no way am I saying this is the fastest way or the fastest vehicle to use for this event, because it's not. I was averaging lap times of around 1 minute 43 seconds using it on fuel map level 6, and 1 minute 40 seconds using fuel map level 1. But with it being on fuel map level 6, I was able to go 10 laps without having to go refuel. So that is incredibly long and honestly absolutely amazing. So with 10 laps, I was able to only put once during the event and win by over a lap. I mean, I was playing the easiest difficulty, but it's not the point. We are more just testing out to see if it is possible to do it and how good the fuel economy is. And with it being a GT3 engine, the fuel economy is absolutely perfect. One of the best advantages of adding a race car engine to any vehicle. So in some cases, like easiness to drive, well, the fully upgraded standard engine is better. But if you do want to have a chance of doing endurance events, well, that is where the swap is king. So with all this being said, I hope you guys did go and to enjoy this. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Thank you so much for your time. And if you're looking for more GT7 content, well, click the video on screen right now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.